Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. As you can see, I am on the TradingView website. Now to get here, it's just www.tradingview.com. As simple as that. Just type in TradingView on Google. If you're still using Yahoo, it's always going to be the first hit. So we are going to be going over TradingView, giving you a nice overview, how to use it, what are the tips and tricks, because I use this as a professional trader to mark up my charts each and every day. When I am teaching other people, this is what I use. Other prop firm traders at my firm, they are also using TradingView. It definitely has a monopoly and it is a cut above all the others. I would suggest, in my own personal opinion, to use this to mark up your charts rather than using MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. It is so much easier and it is fantastic. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this because it's really going to help you learn how to trade and how to use this platform to the best of your abilities. So obviously we can see here that this is the main home page, right? Really simple, really easy. What we're then going to do is look over to this left side, and if I can move this over the way, you can see that I have my watch list up here. For example, when you come on, you will not have a watch list. It might just say, in fact, I don't think I've even changed it, watch list with nothing there, right? And if I take away these two things, you'll be able to see that I have no symbols next to it. So this is what you're going to do in order to fill this watch list. There's two main ways to go about it. You do the plus or the add symbol. Now, I understand this is forex, but if you want to do crypto, indices, bonds, economy, stocks, everything is here and you can add it to your list. Say I didn't have DXY up there, which is the dollar exchange, right? It's the DXY, it's the currency dollar of the United States. I went onto forex and I went DXY. You're going to see that it's not there. Really simple, really easy to use. I can just go on all. And then you can see US dollar currency index. And then it would be a CFD, an index fund. And all I do there, just add it to watch list. And now you can see it's gone all the way to the bottom there. That's perfect. And what I'm doing now is simply clicking on it and then dragging it all the way back up to the top. It's the exact same if for some reason I wanted to trade the Thai baht. And look, here's an example here with the Indian rupiah. I didn't even have to go on it. I could have clicked on forex to make it a little bit easier. You can go on all. But say I wanted to do that, I can click on it and then I can add it and it's down here. But if I don't want it on there, pretty simple. Instead of hovering and moving it around, I just go over and I click the X right next to it. Now you can change your name of the watch list, whatever you want to do, by going up and clicking on these three little dots here. That means you can share your list, make a copy, rename, clear it, customize your columns, blah, blah, blah. I'll leave that to you. It's pretty self-explanatory. But that is how you use this to build your watch list. It's the first thing that you will want to do because hopefully you will already have an idea of the markets, or I should say the currency pairs that you are interested in at this current point in time. But say you wanted to actually look at the charts. Well, there's two ways to go about this, right? And I'll move this out of the way again. I can either go in the search bar and find what I want. Say I did want to look at the Japanese yen Thai baht, I can launch that chart. I'm going to do it here. I'm just going to click it, right? I'm going to launch the chart. Now I'm on it. Now I am on that chart. And awesome. I really want to look at it. But say I wanted to move on to something else. I'm just going to go over here. And I could literally just click this one, left click it, and here we go. I'm on it. And we could go over here and check it out again. I could go on NZD USD. I'm on it again. And we could go to USD JPY and it's going to flick through all of them. And you can just double check in this top left hand corner which currency pair that you are on. Right? Pretty simple. Let me just remove all my indicators here because we'll get into that in a second. So that's how you make the watch list. That's how you actually get onto the charts. Yours might look a little bit different if you want to change it to how I have it here. simply right click on the chart, go onto your settings. Now we can just go to symbols. You can see that I've made the body of my candlesticks green, and then red, and then green, and then red, and then green, and then red. Obviously the ones going down are red. If I change this one to blue, you can see that it now changes to blue. But I like the outside to be red of the body. And then I could do the same one over here. I could change this one to pink. I could change it back to yellow. But obviously I want it to stay green. That's what I like. And you can do it in any single way you want. Obviously my time zone is down here as well, so that's where you would change it to yours, and then you would simply press OK. Appearance, scales, status line, trading, events, leave them. Do not touch them. You do not need to do anything with them. They're perfectly fine on their default settings. That's how you make it look like mine. And now to go over a few more simple things. Obviously I told you up here is the currency pair that you're on. You can switch it by typing whatever you want. We could even go NZD USD for example, and as I showed you before, we can just either click on it or press launch chart. Pretty simple. And now what we need to look at is right here, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. We can see the broker's not connected, but that would be the asking price and the buy price, right? And then you can see that the spread right there is 0.8. Now we have already talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into it. Look at that lesson. It might be the other way around. For example, my broker's not connected. That could be the bid price and that could be the ask price. I think it's right the first time that I asked. That's ask and that's bid, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't have my broker connected. So it's just bringing out a random spread at this point in time. But if you connected your broker, you can absolutely do that. But say I did want to connect my broker, I can just click on one of these and then I can find it. Pepperstone, Capital, 8 cap, there's so many different ones, FXCM, and then that's going to link there. And you can even place trades through here. So that's pretty cool. It's awesome. You can go in your strategy tester, load your strategy up, etc. You can play around with that, but that's something that is far more advanced. I'm not going to cover in this one here. I could do an entire lesson on that. But what I really want to go for is New Zealand dollar, US dollar 30. That means my time frame, if I click on it, and then I click on this, is 30 minutes. So this one here goes through all the time frames I can go on. If I go into the 1 hour, it's going to look a bit different because each candlestick now represents 1 hour. If I go into the 4 hours, it looks a bit different. Each candlestick representing 4 hours, and so on and so forth. I can go to 1 day, I can go all the way to 12 months, which is a year. Each candlestick representing a year, and I believe that's as far down as you can go, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. To give you a good idea of what's happening, I'll go back to the 1 month. Now, obviously, there is an X and Y axis, right? It's around here. So to move around, to zoom in, it's not just a simple case of scrolling out and scrolling in, right? You will need to be able to move these up and down. And you can even use this to stretch it, make it go out, zoom in, zoom out. Play around with it to make sure that you're able to suit it to your best, I guess, settings for you. But you can move both of these X and Y axis, right? You can move both of them. And that is going to really help you out there. Zooming in and out is only moving this axis here. It's only moving this axis. So if you want a better view and you need to zoom in, you'll also have to move this axis right here. There is nothing on this side, right, guys? That's how you zoom in and out. Now, you'll see this bar up here. I already have preloaded it with things that I like. Say you just randomly went onto this tool. It says trend line, but there's a little arrow next to it. I can open up all of my tools. And you can see that some of them are highlighted. So if I didn't want that trend line on here, I just declick that star, or then I add it to favorites. This bar will automatically appear when you add a favorite to it, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So that's how you use it. In terms of how many things I use, I only use the fib retracement. I don't use any of these, but you can see that TradingView has all of them. You can see brush, highlighter, right? All these things here. Just press Control Z to get rid of it. That's all you have to do. It's as simple as that. Rectangle. You can click on it and obviously press delete, but what I do, it's a lot faster. Control Z. Right? Really easy. And if you want to change the tools, just press the arrow next to it. Get a circle out if you want to, etc. Control Z, delete. It's really easy. The one that is a little bit tricky is path. I suggest you just play around with all of them. It's click, 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 and it will keep going until you double click. So remember that about path. You might be able to hear my mouse. If I'm just clicking, it's just going like that. Now listen, when I double click, that's when it stays, right guys? That's when it's going to stay. So there's so many different things here. I don't even use any of this stuff. I have my long position, my short position. These are just all symbols. Measuring tool, for example, you can even zoom in through here, but it's not a good way to zoom in at all. In fact, you can see that I don't even really use it. This stuff, weak magnet, strong magnet, if you're placing it around, magnet mode is on, anchors will be snapped. I don't even play with basically anything from here on in. Just don't need to touch it. So there's a lot of tools, go through them, see what they all look like, but as you can see here, if you want to pause the video, these are the things that I use the most. Trend lines, pretty easy to do. If you wanted to change anything, you can literally see that a toolbar up here comes on. You can click this, I can change it like that, change it back to black. Oh, sorry, change this one to black, and then next time I do a bar, look, it's black. If I change it again to red, next time I bring one out, it's red. Really simple. And if you wanted to change it, double click on it. What you can see is visibility. Never touch this tab, ever. Don't touch it. Coordinates, never touch it. You don't need to. That's where it starts, that's where it ends. If you mess around with it, it's going to change. All you have to do to change the coordinates is just do this. Pretty simple. But if I double click on it again, I can go text. I can say hello on it. You can even say the text alignment, it's obviously on top. I could put it on the bottom. I could put it in the middle. I could put it in the left part. I could put it in the center. And then again, I could put it on top. I can even change it to orange. I can change how big it is. I could put it at 40. Style, it's going to be the exact same thing. If you want to change the thickness of it, it's just underneath color. It's super simple, guys. It's super easy. If I wanted to change it again, I could just do this. Right? It's that easy. It's that simple. Guys, it's incredible the amount of tools and versatility that is on here. But to go over everything that I've just done, I have a watch list. We know how to add things. We know how to get them off. We know how to change the charts. We know that we could even compare another symbol, NZD, USD, AUD, for example. I can click on this, and now I've got two of them up here. I can double click on it again. I could go style instead of line. I can go candles. So now I see NZD USD and AUD USD on here, right? This one just gets a little bit trickier to read. You're going to have to mess around with it. The more you zoom in, the more it's going to basically give you a clearer picture of where the price is actually in the market, but it's so much harder to zoom in and out of, right? So that's only if you want to compare pairs. You would only do that with, say, NZD USD, AUD USD, because they're so linked. Great British Pound USD and Euro USD, because they're heavily linked. There's no point doing AUD USD and Euro JPY. That doesn't make any sense. So we know we're on Great British Pound US dollar. We know we're on the 1 hour. We know how to change it by doing this. We can hop on a different one by clicking over here. We could even look it up and type in JPY, for example. Go on forex, JPY USD. And now we're on this one, right? It's a little bit different because JPY is first, whereas I could go on USD JPY over here. We know on the 30 minutes because it says 30, we can change it, and so on and so forth. We know if we click this arrow, we can find all the different tools. We know if we highlight this yellow part, we're going to populate it, this yellow star I should say, on our favorites tab. We can move the favorites tab around by just drawing it around here. Guys, it's super simple. You're going to understand it. I've basically taught you everything that you need to know here. The last thing I'll go over, if you didn't like a candlestick chart, just next to the 30 minutes, you can change it to bars, you can change it to area, to whatever you want it to be. But yeah, that's super simple. And if you need indicators, really simple again. There's an indicator tab here. I type in RSI. Oops, sorry guys. Stochastic, Connors, RSI strategy, relative strength index. I click it once. Do not double click it, you'll add it twice. Here it is. It's right here. Say I wanted an EMA, moving average exponential. Here's what happens if you click it twice. You can now see that I've added it twice. To get rid of it, just hover over it like you would this and click X. Hover over it, click X. If you don't want to see it, just press the show button. You can see it, you can't see it, you can see it, you can't see it, and so on and so forth. And then you can just remove it. And to remove these ones, guys, super simple. It's the same thing. RSI 14 close. I click X. And there you have it, guys. That is how you use TradingView. And in some other lessons, we might even be going over strategy, how to find some entries, how to get your exits, where to place your stop loss, and so on and so forth. So look out for that, guys. It's going to be really good. But until the next lesson, please leave a comment, send us an email if you are confused, if you have any questions, whatever best makes sense to you. But until then, have a brilliant day. Bye, guys.